Welcome back to the warm-up with Jot and Ben, everybody. Continuing our season outlook, we have the Minnesota Timberwolves. Before we get into it, please like, comment, subscribe on the video. Turn on that notification bell so you never miss an episode of the warm-up. And we have our new social media handle links in the description below for Instagram and Twitter. So continuing our season outlook, we got the Minnesota Timberwolves, a team that's gone to the conference finals in back-to-back years, a team that has an ascending superstar in Anthony Edwards. He's 23 years old or 24 years old now. Hasn't even scratched the surface of his prime, but yet he's been in the two conference finals. A team that lost Nickeil Alexander-Walker, but they're still a menace on defense as well. So let's get into it.
All right. Taking a look at their roster. Let's see what we got here. Obviously, we'll name the big guy, Anthony Edwards. Also, Rudy Gobert, who you're paying a lot of guaranteed money to. Julius Randle, who just got paid a lot of guaranteed money. Jaden McDaniels, who's one of my favorite go-get-it guys in the league.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the one and only fan favorite, amazing person, Naz Reid. Dante DiVincenzo, who's a great piece off the bench. Mike Conley, who apparently doesn't age. Rob Dillingham, who they got in the draft last year. Terrence Shannon, who got some minutes last year. Joe Ingles is still there. And then a lot of other guys that are on the bench. My first thought on this roster, they're just I feel like they're still just not quite there yet to get it done in the West. Okay. I don't think this team beats OKC. I don't think this team beats Denver. I don't think this team beats Dallas, Houston, Golden State. Yeah. Golden State would be a tough matchup for them. I think this team is kind of in the middle tier of the Western Conference.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad though, because I think they have one of the most bright and best players in the NBA in Anthony Edwards, who I personally think in the coming years will be the face of the NBA if he keeps this up. He's a fan favorite. He's a media favorite. He's flashy, and he's a true competitor. He's everything you'd want in a franchise player. But when you look at this roster, I think the big thing that stands out to me is Julius Randle. Can he be what they need him to be? He's not Cat. So I guess they need to change their they need to change their line of thinking in that way. He's not going to be your Cat. So you have to say, like, look, is Julius Randle going to be the guy that gets us 25 a night? Or is he going to be one of those guys that will help us go by committee and get us 15 to 20? Is he going to stand out as a leading scorer? Is he going to be among the rest? And I think that's something that Randall's going to have to decide as well as he fits into this offense. Yeah. I also think Rudy Gobert at the center position, this experiment just is not working. I think for regular season, it's fine. And it works. But when they get to the playoffs, they'll run 5 out, and Gobert's on a mismatch every time. Like I specifically remember in the Western Conference Finals in 24 against Dallas, they could barely put Gobert on the floor because we would just run 5 out, and he would get beat every time. And then OKC tried to do the same thing last year when they faced him in the conference finals. And I believe that what was it? The Lakers tried it. I think the Lakers tried it when they put Hayes out there, but it didn't work. And then the Warriors didn't have the personnel to do it. So OKC was the first team that was able to exercise kind of putting Gobert in the mismatch. Yeah. So that's my thoughts on the roster. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think from a roster standpoint, if you can get Rob Dillingham to hit, I think that could go a long way. I think they have enough defensive versatility to get by in the regular season 100%. Mike Conley's getting up in age. I don't think he should be a starter on a night-to-night basis for a team that's trying to win a championship. Julius Randle, for him, it's all about health. But at the same time, they extended him. But I don't know if they really wanted him to come back, to be honest with you. I love Randle. I think he's a really good bucket getter, but I don't think he contributes to like championship ceiling type of team. With Rudy Gobert, he's making so much. Well, he still has that long contract.
Yeah.
They drafted that France kid at center who has a lot of defensive versatility.
Yes.
They like a lot. Um, Burn Burringer or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the team's gonna be. I think it's a good team. I think Ant's still gonna take another step. He improved as a playmaker and out of double teams last year. I think he went in the offseason this year, developed a 4 level scoring, which is adding a post up game, which I think
Yeah.
is huge for just passing out of shots. And then yeah, like you said, like I love Nas Reed coming off the bench still, but it just the team doesn't feel like it's a championship caliber team.
Yeah. My main concern for the Minnesota Timberwolves, as like in general as an organization, is how much time do you have left to make this work? Because a player like Anthony Edwards is not going to lose for much longer. At least
Yeah.
he's not going to accept losing for much longer. So, how long is it going to take before Anthony Edwards either says, "I'm out of here, I'm going to go take my talents elsewhere," or say, "I'm out of here, I would like a trade"?
Hmm.
So they have to put this together and start winning. So I feel like you've got one more year to test out this roster and see if you can try and make another deep playoff run. If it fails, you got to make some organizational change here because you got to start winning. The pressure's on, and I personally think it's not long before Anthony Edwards says I'm going to go win elsewhere.
Yeah.
Because as any star does in the NBA, you want to go play on the coast
Hmm.
because you like playing in coastal cities. Coastal cities get a lot of national attention,
Yeah.
and they're great places to play. Like personally, I could see him 100% fitting on a team like Boston in 3 years. I've always thought that for some reason, like fitting on a
Yeah.
Boston or possibly
Miami.
possibly like a Miami or a New York. So it's like
Hmm.
there are a lot of fits. There are a lot of places that could use an Anthony Edwards. So it's like they need to figure this out now because time is running out. And the thing is, like, the West is only getting better. Like, Wemby is getting better. The Mavs retooled and they're emerging. Denver got a lot better. Houston got a lot better. OKC's
Hmm.
still there. And
Yeah.
you guys stood pat. So we'll see what those consequences are. Where do you think they're going to finish in the West this season, Joe?
I think they could finish anywhere from 3 to 7.
Okay. Yeah.
I think if they can keep up that, if they could up their defensive tenacity like they do in the playoffs these last 2 years, I don't see why not. They can't be a top 5 seed even because that how they play in the playoffs defensively is real disturbing pressure that people don't like playing against. And on a regular Saturday night, as you see Jaden Daniels, or yeah, Jalen McDaniels stealing that ball, like they have so much defensive upside with him and Ant on the floor.
Yeah.
Um, Even Gobert, I mean, I will give credit to the front office. They traded Gobert. Everyone thought it was an awful trade, but the team also has still made it to the conference finals last 2 years.
They have. Yeah.
I don't think Gobert is like a championship winner, but like they've gotten there a lot more often than any other team in the West has the last 2 years. But we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to see some internal growth, like I said with Rob Dillingham. Um, Dante DiVincenzo, I still think can still improve on some stuff, even though he's a great player now. And then Terrence Shannon, who the whole reason why they let Nikhil Alexander Walker walk for nothing, uh, because of this kid right here.
That's
So
right. That's right. They lost to Alexander Walker.
yeah,
Yeah, I think another thing with this team, like I'd like to see them more like run a lot more Nas Reed at the 5,
yeah.
and kind of just let him uh, test out his versatility and his ability to stretch the floor. There's a lot of potential with their young guys to see, like kind of some different lineup wrinkles. Like you can put Shannon in there and Dillingham and Ant and Nas Reed, and kind of really just play around with it and see what you like. Um, Another thing I would say about this Wolves team is as far as standings are concerned, I put them in the same tier as the Clippers and the Warriors, kind of that 5-6 spot. So someone's going to be the odd man out. So I'd probably say like 5, 6, 7, somewhere in there. I do think they could finish higher if one of the teams that we had at the top that we mentioned doesn't perform to their standards.
Yeah.
But Anthony Edwards is one of the best players in the league. I personally think he's a top 5 player in the
Yeah.
NBA right
100%.
now. And I'm ready to just continue to see him flourish. He's so fun to watch. He's a likable guy. So I'm rooting for him personally.
Yeah. And then like another team, the reason why to root for this team, man, they're bringing back the classic uniforms, the trees.
Oh my
I think
gosh,
they're
yes.
top
The KG
one of my
unis.
favorite jerseys of all time.
Oh, yeah.
They're retiring Kevin Garnett's number this year. There's a lot of little fun nuances with this team that will be fun to keep an eye on.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, that wraps up our season outlook for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Please like, comment, subscribe on the video. Turn on that notification bell so you never miss an episode of the warm up. And then we have a new Instagram and Twitter followings in the description below. So thank you guys for watching. Peace and stay safe.